What's going on, boys and girls? Jack here with part 2 of the road to Skyrim. Now, once again, I apologize about not uploading a lot lately. I've just been really busy. I'm coming up to the end of my trimester for uni, but it's almost done. I've finished all my assignments, so I can start uploading constantly again. Now, today, I'm going to be going over what is going to be different from Oblivion and Skyrim. Just a couple of the main things, not everything. In future episodes I will be going into more detail, but for this episode is more of just, a general overview of everything. Now, the gameplay you're watching is about half an hour session of Oblivion that I had. I pick up directly where I left off, and it's compacted into about 15 minutes. I just picked the main points. It's just I pick up directly where I left off from the last episode. Now, I did a lot of research to find out exactly what is new in Skyrim, or what's been included, or what I've noticed. And as always, everyone's going to have their own opinions. Everyone's got their major opinions of what is, the major updates in the game, and everyone's got their opinions about what is a minor update in the game. And these are just my own opinions about what's minor, what is major, what I'm most looking forward to. First off, I'll start with the minor opinions, the minor points, the minor updates, just to get them out of the way. First off, we have amazing world graphics. Now, this is a given. Elder Scrolls games are known to be revolutionary when it comes to world graphics. Now, of course, it won't look as good as, a game like Crysis 2. That's simply because Crysis 2 is a lot smaller game in reference to the world. You have to take into note that Skyrim is going to be taking place in a huge world, and it's still going to look amazing. Whereas starting in my words today, whereas Crysis 2 is taking place in levels, so they have more ability to stick a lot more detail into each level. Whereas Skyrim will be taking place in a huge world, and it's, from what I've seen, it is going to look absolutely amazing. As in like Oblivion, each town is going to have its own architecture. So it's going to be, each town is going to have its own unique building style, its own unique architecture. Generally, the insides are exactly the same. It's more of an outside aesthetic look. It doesn't really make any difference to the gameplay. I just thought it'd be something, nice to note. A big one that I've noticed, not a major point, just like a big update that I'm really looking forward to, is that when you commit a crime in a town, only the guards in that town will be after you to arrest you. You can actually go to other towns, and they won't try to arrest you. Something that really annoyed me in Oblivion is that, you'd kill a guard in some town somewhere, or a person, or you commit a crime, and then a town on the other side of Oblivion, in the world of Oblivion I'm talking about, a town on the other side of the map, the guards there, as soon as you walk into town, the guards would come and arrest you, and it always, seemed odd that how would they know? Well, in this one, you can commit a crime in one town, and guards in the other town will not come bother you, will not come pest you. It's that town's problem. I assume this only accounts for some things. I'm assuming that, if you, kill a bunch of guards, that you become infamous, and then that causes guards in other towns to come after you. But so far, it seems that only guards from the town you commit the crime in will come after you, which I'm really looking forward to. It means you can go on a lot more crime missions. It means you can steal it more and not have to worry, and I'm really looking forward to it. Now, the next point is the creatures are going to be a lot more epic, because let's face it, in Oblivion they were pretty stock standard. It's only when you really get to the higher levels that they start to get a lot more interesting, and even then, you run into a couple of minotaurs, a couple of spider daedras, but that's about it. You never really come across anything epic. But in this one, if you have seen the trailer, you're going to be coming up against dragons, mammoths, giants, huge epic creatures, and I'm really looking forward to fighting these. It twists the thing on its head, because you have a lot more to aim for, but they're a lot bigger than you are, and it really gives you less of a chance to run away. Another big feature that I'm really looking forward to is improved horse combat. Now, the horse combat in Oblivion, well, it wasn't horse combat. There was nothing. You just rode a horse to get someone quicker. But from what I've discovered in Skyrim, I'm not sure if this is official, so don't take this as facts, because I have done research into this, but so far I cannot 100% confirm this. So don't take this as 100% fact. It's just something I'm looking forward to. But there is actually horse combat in this game, which is going to be great. It means you actually have a reason to put armor on a horse. You know, you can shoot bows from a horse, you can swing your sword from a horse, and it really gives you a reason to have a horse, because in Oblivion, it didn't really matter if you had a horse or not. You know, thanks to fast travel, you didn't need a horse. There was no real reason to have a horse, and I didn't really bother me if I had a horse or not. Alright, next point. Better and more interesting locations. Now, I'm mainly referring to places like dungeons and mountains, because in Oblivion the dungeons were pretty similar to each other. You know, I only went to a few dungeons just because I didn't find them that interesting. I didn't find them a dungeon any different from another dungeon. A dungeon was a dungeon, and I only went to dungeons I had to for quests. I just found no reason to go to all these dungeons. And it looks like in Skyrim they're really taking the chance, and they're really creating these super interesting dungeons, which I'm really looking forward to. And with the note on dungeons, there's going to be over 150 dungeons in Skyrim. I believe that is pretty similar to Oblivion, but hopefully all these dungeons are different from one another, and you have an actual reason to go into each dungeon. Next point, stealth has been improved. From what I can tell, it looks a lot like Fallout stealth rather than Oblivion's, whereas in Oblivion you would shoot, you know, one person from a group, you would stealth kill that person, and the rest of the group would come and attack you. But it seems like it's more like Fallout this time, where you can actually kill the entire group from stealth, and they will never know you were there. It's a bit unrealistic, but it does help stealth gameplay a lot more. Whereas Oblivion, it did quite annoying. Next point. There's over 300 hours of gameplay in Skyrim. 300 hours. That is ridiculous for a single player game. Now, of course, I assume that they're referring to, like, if you explore every single possibility in this game, because a lot of games say, you know, oh, we've got 100 hours, you can usually beat it in about 60 hours, 50 hours, and I hope it's not like that this time, because the same thing happened with Oblivion, where they're like, oh, we have 100 hours of gameplay, and I beat pretty much every single quest in about 60 hours. There is a lot more to the game. It's just that if I'm not doing quests, I get bored. Same thing happened in Fallout. I just got really bored, so I hope it's not like that this time. But of course, there's always the risk that with 300 hours of quests, the quests just get really repetitive. And you don't want that either. You just don't want a bunch of repetitive quests, because it's really horrible. And that's another thing. I really hope that each quest is unique in its own way, and it's a good quest. It's a nice, different quest, and every single time you feel like you're playing a quest, just feel like it's something new. Next point. Workbenches of forges are in the game now. Now, workbenches are for creating items. No, my mistake. Workbenches are for upgrading items, and forges are for creating items. This is a big new world on Oblivion, because you never used to be able to create your own items. You used to be able to upgrade items into magical items, but you were never able to create entire items just from scratch. And I also hope that this means that they have a brand new ranking system for all their items, because you can seriously get some of the best armor and swords at the very beginning of the game. At the very beginning. Now, of course, it upgrades with you as you get your armor stats and all that sort of stuff up, but still, it got quite annoying that you could get some of the best stuff right at the start of the game, and it just wasn't that great. I'm hoping this time that you really have to go through effort to get the best stuff in the game. Next point, companions are included in the game. Now there were companions in Oblivion, but there weren't very many. There was only like 2 or 3. Unlike Fallout, which there's quite a few, and they're making a return in Skyrim. There's going to be quite a lot of companions you can get, and it's going to depend on what you've done, your actions, if they like you or not. At least that's what I'm hoping for, and I'm really looking forward to that as well. Now we're going on to the major points. I have several of them, and I'm going to go into specific depth. Now these are my major points, not necessarily your own. These are just the ones I'm most looking forward to. The first is improved animations. This is a big deal for me because one major problem with Oblivion was that the third person view was broken. It was just straight up broken. You could not do shit with it. You ice skated everywhere. It was impossible to shoot magic or use your bow. You could hardly sword fight in it, and this time it seems, from what I've gathered, they've really worked on it. They're really trying to make it so you can play the entire game from third person. Next is killing animations. Of course in Oblivion when you killed someone they sort of just dropped dead in front of you. Wasn't that great? Now in this one, from what I've seen, you actually have full-on animations, like you grab their sword and you actually see yourself stab their throat from a first-person perspective, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. There's also, when you kill the dragons, it's going to be whole killing sequences where you like jump on top and you stab the dragon through the top of the head. It looks like it's going to be so much fun. My second major point is improved combat. Now combat in Oblivion was boring. It was jilted, it was repetitive, it was dull. Right at the end, honestly, all I did was just swing my sword. I would step back, do a big swing, and just hack away at them. 2 more hits and then we're dead. That was it. There was no depth, there was no strategy. But it seems this time around, like with the ability to dual weapons, dual spells, dual a weapon and a spell, it seems like they've put a whole new dimension on it. And also such things as blocking, countering, I hope is making like an impact on the game. I really hope so. But obviously there's only so much you can do with the style of combat that Oblivion has. Now that's not to say it was boring, but it did get quite repetitive, and honestly the combat was just sort of more standing in the way of the storyline for me right at the end of the game. Every single fight I did was fairly easy just because I was so overpowered compared to everyone else. And it seems like this time they're really making an effort to make sure that combat is really nice and really effective and fun every single time. And every single enemy you face, you have to come up with a different strategy. They might have their own weaknesses, their own strengths, and you have to adjust for them. Such as going up against giants, you obviously have to adjust your strategy from going up against an imp. Same with a dragon, and I'm really looking forward to see what they can do with the combat in Skyrim. And my third and last major point is the story system is getting revamped slightly. Now I have an actual quote from Todd Howard, who's the guy, the community manager, the sort of spokesperson, the face of Skyrim at the moment. He's the one doing all the interviews, doing the gameplays, demos, all that sort of stuff. And I have an actual quote from him in an interview he had. Skyrim makes use of the Radiant AI, or Artificial Intelligence System, created for Oblivion, which has been updated to allow NPCs to do whatever they want under extra parameters. The updated system allows for greater interaction between NPCs and their environments. NPCs can perform such tasks as farming, milling, and mining in the game world. NPCs can interact with the player through conversation and can request favors and training for the player, or challenge a player to a duel. Events such as duelings are randomly generated encounters, taking influence from Bethesda's previous game, Fallout 3. Skyrim introduces the Radiant story system, which governs quests and how they function. Side quests are dynamically altered based on the player's actions and are tailored to the player's abilities and progress within the game. As an example, the player might be sent off to a dungeon that's not been previously explored and face enemies that are defeated most effectively with the player's preferred combat style. So basically what that means, if you didn't understand it, that if it works properly, every single time you play this game using a different style, a different combat style, it will be different. It will truly be different, which I am so excited for. This is the biggest update to me personally, and I'm really looking forward to it. It means they might actually be able to give you 300 hours of unique content all the way through, although it's highly not likely that it will work exactly as they have said. But here's hoping that it does, because it makes such a new and better experience, and it will really like revolutionize storytelling in this sort of game, in a game like this. Anyway guys, this has been episode 2, the countdown to Skyrim. Remember to like this video if you liked it, favorite it if you've loved it, and if you want to see more of these, if you want to keep up to date to when I release these videos, remember to subscribe to my channel. Jack out.